but Mark Tatum's back up. All right, guys.
Charlotte at 4, Jude. Charlotte at 4.
Charlotte at 4. Hey, I'm happy. This is gravy, bro. Nah.
Philly at 3.
You're ahead of me, Ethan.
Oh my goodness.
Give me Cooper Flag. I don't want to
hold
trade for
on.
Giannis.
Oh, the 2. Oh, we got 2. Oh, we got 2. No freaking way the Mavericks moved up.
Hey. Dylan Harper and the Mavs. The Mavs are getting rewarded for that. This is total rig. No. They sacrificed Luka. This is the NBA rewarding them, and they're giving us number 2 because they want to also blow the Spurs up. Oh my goodness, man.
That's insanity, dude. Holy crap. Yeah.
Maybe the Mavs will trade it away again. Oh my goodness. I think they'll probably keep it though and use Cooper Flag. And then the NBA can, oh my gosh, they can farm the Wemby Cooper rivalry.
Yes, dude, the 4th lowest odds in history since 1985 for the Mavericks to move up to 1. They had 1.8%. That's insanity.
They've never won it. That was their first time ever winning it too.
Wow. Shout out the Mavericks. The city needed a win. You know what? He's going to really enjoy Las Vegas.
Are they moving there?
That's what the city believes. They think it's all like a scam, so the owner can move to Vegas because that's where he's centered from.
Interesting. We'll see. The Mavericks and Dallas is such, like, they could have a team in Las Vegas and Dallas, I feel like, if they're going to do expansion.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dallas is such a good market. But honestly, I do. It wouldn't surprise me, like, within the next 20 years of our life, Ethan, if we do have a team in Las Vegas. You're seeing it with football and baseball.
Number 2 overall.
So here's a good question here. Sweet Noop, will we trade to get Giannis or keep pick and take Ace Bailey or even a potential of Dylan Harper? Because, dude, a lot of people have been saying, like, if y'all go watch No Ceilings, I believe Tyler Rucker is his name. There's 2 Tylers that do the show, Tyler Rucker, Tyler Metcalf. And they really, truly feel like, honestly, it's a 2-person draft. Like, and then there's a drop off. Obviously, it's significantly better than last season, like not even comparable. Mm-hmm. But it is kind of like 1A Cooper Flag, or if you just want to call him 1, and then 2 is Dylan Harper, and then everybody else kind of 3A, 3B, 3C. So this is very intriguing because, I mean, it's obviously Dylan Harper is a point guard. So there's that. This kind of does, as I'm thinking about this out loud, Ethan, this does kind of make me feel more like there's a trade possibility. But as we've talked about before, we talked about this like a month ago or so, Dylan Harper could immediately be the backup point guard. And because he's 6'6", and we've seen how, Stephon's kind of been versatile this season, you could theoretically long-term, maybe play Stephon at the 3. I mean, I know we kind of see him more as a 1 or a 2 guard, but you could play those 3 guys with De'Aaron, Dylan Harper, and Stephon Castle. I know that's very repetitive with a bunch of ball handlers, but if you're going best player available, and maybe down the line, you're not able to afford a De'Aaron Fox, that's so like long term, but maybe the back, you know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
He could solve the backcourt, immediately be the 6th man. Vane Stain says Harper 100%. We haven't watched him too much because we've been focusing on the guys, not in the top 4 and kind of in the bottom 8 to 10 range. So we're probably going to have to do some more tape study on this, Ethan. Mm-hmm. But what are your thoughts on that whole conversation?
Man, I mean, I don't know enough detail about, which player is better or whatever, but I'll trust your opinion on Dylan Harper. And that, makes it extremely versatile in the backcourt, right? Like you could put him at the 3, 2, or 1. I mean, obviously he has a lot of ball handling skills, so you'd ideally want him at the 1 or 2. But dude, him, Steph, Devin, and De'Aaron at that 4-man backcourt rotation is absolutely filthy. Ace Bailey obviously has a lot of pluses as well. We can talk about that in detail another time, once we get a chance to look at tape for real. But, the Giannis trade also, like, this became a lot easier, unfortunately, like depending on which side of the aisle you are on, because number 2 is a hell of a lot more valuable than number 8 and 14.
and they could get Dylan Harper. And
Yeah.
I know they have Dame, but we just saw his injury. And if they're going into this, are they going to move off of Dame if they're moving Giannis? And he can play the two as well. So yeah, but what I will say, Ethan, is if we do that Giannis trade now, man, we can probably keep. It's probably a lot easier to keep a Jeremy Sohan, for example. Not that that needs to be the entire main priority of this trade, but
Hmm.
I think with the number 2 pick, we can keep a lot of our other future picks. That might make that trade more attractive because we don't have to give up as much. I know we give up this year, but again, I guess that brings us to the question, Ethan. Everybody's asking us in the comment. Here's the thing. I know we're probably going to talk about this for a couple more weeks, or we'll see if a move happens soon.
Mm.
I don't know. I can't predict that. But as of right now, after this happened, what would you rather do? Draft Dylan Harper or make a trade for Giannis?
I'd rather draft Dylan Harper.
Not trying to just agree with you on everything, but me too. And, we were kind of talking about that beforehand, how we didn't want to give up all the draft capital. But here's the thing, man. I mean, that is like, you never know how it's going to work out, but he would probably be like a rookie of the year candidate. Probably next year, I will say that Cooper Flag, I'm gonna pick him right now to win Cooper of the year or Cooper of the year. Rookie of the year. He would be Cooper of the year next season. But again, like I was saying with the no ceilings guys, everybody's saying that if there's anybody who's comparable or like close to the same tier as Cooper in this draft, it's Dylan Harper. And obviously he has an NBA family as well.
Yeah, man. Just build it. Continue to build it. God has given us a gift here. I think we should just take it and run with it.
For sure. Okay. Want to get to some of y'all's comments here because there's 94 of y'all in here. We truly appreciate you guys. We
Mhm.
probably will wrap this up pretty soon here, but we'll get to some of this. I like how Cowboy says Cooper of the year. Pison says keep the number 2, no trade. Jay says that he agrees. Carsick Colin says Dame is out at least a full season. Why would you want him? And he is referring to what Peter said. And he said, can we land Dame and Giannis at one trade? And I think kind of to go to Colin's point, not to completely dismiss that, but yeah, just the amount of cap space that would eat up, and the fact that he wouldn't be out next season. But I get the thought. Jay, another guy who's been coming in here recently, we appreciate you, man. He says, I can see them trading number 2 for more picks. So interesting perspective there. Definitely will keep an eye on that. Vane Stain says 3-time rookie of the year, book
Mm.
it. That definitely could happen if we go with Dylan Harper, but it'll be tough competition with Cooper Flag, that's for sure. Could Castle, Harper, Fox ever be on the court at the same time, in your opinion? We were talking about that earlier. It's going to take time, but I think long term, yes. Especially if Steph's shooting continues, you would have Fox, and then you'd have 2 6'6" guys playing the 2 and the 3, which I think is completely fine. And I think also, here's the other thing: Harper and Castle are only going to continue to get stronger, and they're not going to put on too much weight, but they're going to just continue to become grow into men more.
I agree. I think Dylan Harper is a better shooter than Steph coming into the league as well. So if this is his base, what he did for Rutgers, then he'll only continue to grow in that element of his game, and we know what Steph has already made strides in through his rookie year. So I don't think it would be an issue long term.
I like what Izzy2120 says. Either we trade for Giannis or we draft Harper. I
Mm.
can definitely see that. I do see kind of the idea of maybe, trading for something else long term. There's so many options with this now, but I want to bring up Drew King's comment. He himself has some basketball knowledge and is a basketball reporter, and he says I wouldn't rule out Ace Bailey at 2, and that would be a more seamless fit. So just something to keep an eye on. And that's something maybe next week, Ethan, when we do our next episode, we can do an Ace Bailey and a Dylan Harper prospect breakdown and kind of
Mm-hmm.
compare those two guys.
100%. I don't know enough right now to go into detail, but for sure we can look at
MEZ,
both.
yeah, MEZ says he believes Ace Bailey is a better prospect. So we'll definitely talk about that. But Gremlin, again, he says you don't draft Bailey at 2, you trade down for him. Number 2 is slated for Harper all the way, whichever team wants him. So that's another thing as well. So if the Spurs are really going to go for Ace Bailey, to Jay's point earlier, maybe they can get another pick as well as moving down in a position where they could draft somebody else that they like.
Agreed.
Man, Ethan, I want to go through some of these other comments that we missed, but I think really The main takeaway for me here now is our options are even more open. And I think we definitely need to zero in prospect evaluation wise on
Mhm.
Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper.
Yep, that will absolutely be our next video. Um, After, of course, our video that's coming out next, which is about the importance of Mamu Kelashvili moving forward. That I think takes
Uh
precedence. But then we'll get right onto this number two fiasco.
Barlow's return,
Yes,
that's what we're trading the number 2 pick for. So
right,
be prepared.
right.
Mudyez says, it's so wrong, but now I feel bad. We didn't get number 1. Greedy me. What's wrong with me? I'm not going to lie to you, Mudyez. When we were at number 2 and they hadn't showed it yet, I was like, I wanted number 1 too. Like
Me
once
too.
we weren't number 3, then I was really getting greedy as well. But we got to be so happy about this. Gremlin believes in 3 ball handlers. And like he says too, here's the one thing I will say. Like he would immediately come in and be our 6th man. We kind of talk about he could orchestrate the offense. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? I mean, imagine him setting up and running off ball sets for Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson or whoever it may be. Um, and obviously we'll see kind of what happens with the pick later. But again, I think the other thing we haven't talked about 14 as much. How are you looking at that pick now? With this happening.
Man, think you got to go big at that position. I honestly, but it's also a hell of a lot more easy to trade that pick because we have the number two, so it's not as valuable. At 8 and 14, you pair the two together and you hedge your bets. But at number two, it's a little more of a sure thing. This guy has so much upside and potential to be more than just a late lottery pick. So I think that option comes right back to the table.
Yeah, for me, it's twofold. If we keep it, we were already kind of leaning towards a big there.
Hmm.
Now, for sure, even with Ace Bailey, we're still going to need a backup center, even if he plays the 4. And there were a lot of measurements that came in today. Like Ace Bailey was listed at 6'10. He measured at 6'7.5" barefoot. Now we talk about this. You put on shoes, that basically makes him 6'8". So I still think he can 100% play the 4, but we will be seeing a lot more of those. Carter Bryant measured at 6'6.5". So, he wasn't 6'8". Again, not trying to diminish like all of the positives for these guys, but that will reveal some things as well. And, we'll have some other points, for how we want to compare guys draft wise. But man, Ethan, any final thoughts on this one?
I think we just got to thank the basketball gods and thank Adam Silver and the NBA for gifting us not one, not two, but three phenomenal picks in a row potentially. Um, the future is 100% bright. Even if you do trade for Giannis, like if that's the angle that you want to go, um, this definitely made your case a lot easier. So this is a good day no matter which side of the aisle you sit on.
Yeah, and whether or not you want to draft Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper, the
Hmm.
Spurs are in the position now to really get one of these top guys, in this loaded draft. As much as we didn't win the Cooper flag sweepstakes, with it being Dallas, did anybody have a chance?
Hey, but Nico Harrison is the GM. I know people keep saying that, but there is a chance. He loves defense, so let's give him Blake Wesley. An
And
unbelievable defender.
Sohan. I saw somebody else say
Yeah,
that earlier.
Sohan, and the second pick, and maybe we just go get our guy Cooper Flag. We got to convince him that my guys just can't play defense, so Cooper's not it.
Look, Albert says Flag didn't sound too enthused to be going to Dallas. He's pulling an Eli Manning. He's coming here.
What would you do if that happened, Jude, on draft night? Dallas doesn't trade the pick, but they just draft Dylan Harper at 1. What do you do?
I'm playing Celebrate. You know that music, Celebration, and I'm like, let's go, Nico. I'm a big Nico Harrison fan. That's what I would be doing.
I would too. I'd go personally protect that man because Dallas would be wanting to find him. The population. I live in Dallas, so I'd be the only person in Dallas trying to keep him alive.
Oh man, I love this comment here from King Joshy J. He says, "Why would I be watching ESPN when SSPN is live?"
It's
I
facts.
appreciate you,
We
bro.
are the. I saw someone say it. We are the good luck charm, Jude, because ever since we started live streaming these, the Spurs have had some pretty incredible luck in the draft lottery.
Absolutely. Shout out to Orprepus. This is actually my uncle. He says, cheers. Good shows, gents.
Thanks,
Appreciate
sir.
that. Norris J says Carter Bryant or Danny Wolf at number 14. I'm definitely looking
Hmm.
for a big at 14. That's what Jacob says here. He's been in the comments a lot recently. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of the new subscribers.
Hmm.
Uh, Jocthan Makanga says, let's go Spurs. We appreciate you, man. And Jay says, do you take Dylan and make Castle a small forward? That's kind of what we were talking about earlier. And as much as we kind of talked about molding him into that point guard, I feel like this season he just showed his versatility even more. Also, we see so many point forwards around the league. And here's the other thing. Again, this just goes back to his time at UConn and previews next week's episode. You know, Ethan, I was saying next week's episode is going to be about Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. It's actually going to be about a lot of different people because we're bringing in Lou, and he will talk about this because this is something that he harped on why he felt like we should run to the. I can't believe I keep forgetting this saying. Sprint to not the ballot,
The podium.
the podium. Thank you. I'm thinking of voting. Um,
Vote,
eh,
vote, vote. That
with
too.
with him at UConn and him playing the three there and still being able to impact the game.
Mhm.
But also, again, that ties into the long-term conversation. Eventually, De'Aaron Fox will be gone, and you could have, well, maybe not. I don't know. I say that we'll have to see. That's so far in the future. We don't need to get like 5-6 years ahead tonight.